In a fiery and defiant tone, the Islamic Republic of Iran has issued one of its boldest warnings yet to the United States, declaring that while Washington may initiate a war, it will be Tehran that finishes it, with heavy consequences for any act of aggression. The statement, delivered by Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard Corps, Sadari IRGC, Commander General Hossein Salami, during a public ceremony in Isfahan, has triggered alarm in diplomatic circles and heightened already smoldering tensions between the two long-standing adversaries. The remarks came just days after U.S. military officials confirmed the deployment of a carrier strike group to the Persian Gulf, citing escalating threats from Iranian-backed militias in Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. American officials claim that Iran has not only increased its regional proxy operations, but may also be preparing to accelerate its uranium enrichment program beyond peaceful limits. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan stated in a press briefing, "We're seeing dangerous indicators that Iran is no longer just testing red lines. It's crossing them." Iran, however, has forcefully denied any wrongdoing, claiming that it is the United States and its allies who are provoking unrest in the region. President Ibrahim Raisi, addressing a rally in Tehran, declared, "We are a peaceful nation, but we are not weak. If the U.S. dares to light the match of war, they must know that we will extinguish it on their own soil." Iran's warning comes at a time when both nations are already locked in a shadow conflict across multiple fronts, from cyber warfare and maritime sabotage to intelligence operations and drone strikes. In the past 6 months alone, U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria have come under attack more than 40 times, mostly attributed to Iranian-backed Shia militias. Though the Pentagon has often responded with proportional strikes, there is growing concern that these tit-for-tat exchanges are dangerously close to spiraling into an all-out conflict. General Salami's warning was not merely rhetorical. He presented what appeared to be satellite images of American military installations in the region, suggesting that Iran has the capability and the will to strike key U.S. assets in the Middle East. "Our missiles are not just for deterrence," Salami stated. "They are precise, they are ready, and they are watching." The Biden administration, caught between the demands of deterrence and de-escalation, has so far maintained a delicate balancing act. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated America's commitment to protecting its forces and allies, but stressed that diplomacy remains the first and best option. Yet, behind the scenes, the tone is reportedly more serious. U.S. intelligence agencies are closely monitoring Iranian naval activity in the Strait of Hormuz, particularly the movements of the IRGC Navy's fast attack craft and ballistic missile platforms along Iran's southern coast. Israel, a critical U.S. ally and longtime adversary of Iran, has also entered the conversation. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently warned, "We will not allow Iran to become a nuclear power. Any country that waits too long to stop them is gambling with the future of humanity." Israel's military has quietly ramped up readiness for potential multi-front conflict, including joint drills with U.S. CENTCOM forces focusing on bunker-busting munitions and deep strike scenarios. Meanwhile, in the United Nations, a tense emergency session was held in response to Iran's latest threats. Western diplomats have expressed alarm at Iran's increasing belligerence, while Russia and China have called for restraint on all sides. A leaked cable from the British Foreign Office described the situation as the most volatile moment in U.S.-Iran relations since the assassination of Qasem Soleimani in 2020. In Tehran, the Iranian government is using the crisis to rally nationalist fervor. State media is flooded with documentaries glorifying Iran's missile arsenal, patriotic songs, and speeches about standing up to American arrogance. The narrative being pushed is that of an Iran under siege but unbroken, a nation that will fight not just to defend its sovereignty, but to emerge victorious in the face of superpower aggression. Yet, despite the rhetoric, economic pressure continues to weigh heavily on Iran. U.S. sanctions have crippled the Iranian economy, slashing oil revenues and triggering widespread inflation. Youth unemployment is rising, and dissent is simmering beneath the surface. But instead of weakening the regime, some analysts believe it's hardening its resolve. Yet, despite the rhetoric, economic pressure continues to weigh heavily on Iran. U.S. sanctions have crippled the Iranian economy, slashing oil revenues and triggering widespread inflation. Youth unemployment is rising, and dissent is simmering beneath the surface. But instead of weakening the regime, some analysts believe it's hardening its resolve. Iran's leadership believes they have nothing left to lose, says Dr. Sanam Vakil of Chatham House. That makes them unpredictable and potentially very dangerous. In Washington, there's growing political division over how to respond. Republican lawmakers are urging President Biden to take a tougher stance, with some even calling for preemptive action against Iranian missile sites and nuclear facilities. Democrats, on the other hand, warn that a new war in the Middle East would be a catastrophic mistake. Senator Chris Murphy stated, "Another war with Iran won't bring peace. It will bring chaos." Amid this, ordinary people on both sides of the conflict watch with anxiety. In Iran, citizens are stocking up on food and essentials, fearing a sudden escalation. In the U.S., military families with loved ones deployed in the Gulf are quietly bracing for the worst. The specter of a new war, one that could involve not just Iran and the U.S., but the entire Middle East, is now haunting policymakers across the globe. As the situation stands, the next miscalculation, the next drone downed, or the next missile fired could be the spark that ignites a regional inferno. Iran has drawn a red line. The United States is posturing for deterrence. But in between these two powers lies a deadly silence. And that silence, history teaches us, is often shattered by war.